Hello and welcome. My name is Dehelev, and today I will be showing you my Yu-Gi-Oh! Speed Duel cube. There are a few things to know about it, but this is a really exciting project that I am very stoked to try out. So, what is this? This is a way for you and your friends to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Speed Duels in a way that doesn't require you to keep buying product, as I find the Speed Duel product to be kind of uninteresting, but also the Speed Duel format to be very alluring, so I don't want to let that stop me. So, a few things to note. One of the goals was to keep this around 250 cards. That is where we are right now. That is not a scientific number, it was just a starting point. I also have yet to test this cube, so it could just be that maybe some things in here don't work, we may need some honing. There are some things you may notice, like there's a decent amount of hero representation for the bad heroes. That's because my friend really likes heroes, and so I wanted to include them. Maybe they're so bad that they must be cut, but I'm hopeful that we can support them with different cards to kind of make them work, make them viable. So that's all up for debate. So first thing is there's 250 cards. The idea is that you and your friends draft enough cards to build a 30 card deck, no more, no less. And how do we do that? We'll be opening 5 packs of 8 cards each. And then within those packs, there is a special rule I would like to mention, but I will mention that a little later on once we go through the actual cube itself. So, as you will notice, I have this sorted very elegantly into archetypes and randoms. So what does that mean? Archetypes are lines of cards that are meant to interact with each other, and I tried to pick cards that would be fun and interesting, and they have a higher quantity so that you may try and pick them up. Those mathematicians among you may notice that 4 out of 250 versus 3 out of 250 is not a huge statistical difference. I'm aware of that, and again, it could just require testing, but this may be a good number and it's what sounded good. I wanted to have a lot of diversity and not to have too many of any one card. So, what we have here are 5 different archetypes, the first of which are XYZs. So I have 4 X Head Cannon, 4 Y Dragon Head, and 4 Z Metal Tank, and then 3 of each of their fusions. I wanted to have all of them represented just because they're really fun. And with Union Hanger, which lets you pull Union monsters from your deck if you summon a light machine, it makes it very easy to actually assemble these and get these decently powerful boss monsters on board rather quickly. Next up we have Volcanics. We have 4 Volcanic Rocket, 4 Shell, 3 Hammerer, 3 Doomfire, and then 3 Royal Firestorm Guards to be A, more ammo for Blaze Accelerator and Tri Blaze Accelerator, and B, to get you some draw power, because draw is something I tried to focus on. And so these guys are very splashable. That's something about most of these archetypes, quote unquote, that I've got included here, is they're very splashable, which I'm hoping does well for a draft. And then Wildfire is just for a bit of field clearing. Next we have Blue Eyes. There are 6 Blue Eyes, which you'll notice is higher than the others. I wanted to do this since some of these cards directly rely upon this name. We have 4 Kaibaman to summon your Blue Eyes, 4 Summoner Art. I decided to put this here and not under randoms as I couldn't really figure out another Blue Eyes card. This could be something else. 4 Burst Stream of Destruction to clear fields and really get value out of that Blue Eyes. And then a set of White Dragon Ritual and Paladin of White Dragon. It's just another way to summon out those Blue Eyes. And then lastly, we have 3 Dragon's Rebirth. Next up, we have Elemental Hero. We have 3 of each of the first normal monsters, Burstinatrix, Avian, Clayman, Sparkman, and then we have 3 of each of these fusions, Thunder Giant, Rampart Blaster, and Flame Wingman. I tried to pick hero fusions that use a decent amount of crossover. So obviously Burstinatrix is in 2 of these, Avian is in 1 of these, Clayman is in 2 of these, and Sparkman is in 1 of these. There is also 3 Rhoda in here, and that's just to help search out these normal monsters, give them a little more value. And then 4 Skyscraper. This may be really good, this may be nothing. I just think it seems really fun. I like the idea of using it with Flame Wingman to pull off the iconic kill the 3k beater like Jaden does to Crowler using his Wingman versus Ancient Gear Golem. The last archetype here is Dark Magician. We have 6 Dark Magician, just like the 6 Blue Eyes, 4 Dark Magician Girl, 3 Dark Paladin, 4 Dark Magic Attack, 4 Thousand Knives, 4 Dark Magic Curtain, and 4 Sage's Stone. I really like removal. I think removal is really cool, and I think it's really interesting to have Dark Magician tied to removal and to have the Volcanics tied to removal, giving you 2 different paths you could go to build engines that let you remove monsters in ways that aren't battle. This lets you get over giant beaters, which you'll see a little later on, and some of these can be quite large monsters when you only have 4,000 life points. Moving on to the randoms, we have 3 Cyber Dragon. It's just a really fun going second card, a 2100 beater right off the bat. 3 Manju. I wanted to give Fusion and Ritual decent support, so Manju lets you search Ritual monsters and spells, so it kind of is that great consistency. 3 Breaker, so you've got that backward removal. 3 Des Kangaroo. This is to combo with the Big Koala and Master of Oz, not to spoil too much, but I like the idea of just a weird little fusion engine there. Goddess with the Third Eye. she can be used as any fusion material so long as the other is correct. So this means we can substitute her as the Des Kangaroo for the Master of Oz, for the Blue Eyes Ultimate, for our hero fusions, for our Dark Paladin. So I'm hoping she is enough to make fusions viable. We have the 3 Buster Blader. This is of course to go into Dark Paladin. 3 Tyrant Dragon. This is just a flavor one. I just like this card. I think it's cool that it can attack twice. 3 Abazu the Soul Eater for a good normal summon. 3 Black Brachios for another good normal summon. 3 Sphere Karibo. This is a nice little hand trap. Of course, those that play Duel Links will recognize this. This is a really interesting little thing, and I think it could be really effective. 3 Big Koala for the Master of Oz. 3 Charcoal Impachi. This is for Blaze Accelerator, and also I just wanted to have a set big wall. I thought that was a cool idea from old Yu-Gi-Oh! 3 Summon Skull. This is so you have a normal summon that's just got good attack points and nothing else. 3 Blue Eyes Ultimate, just in case you pick up a lot of Blue Eyes. Master of Oz, just so you have a giant beater. Relinquished and Dark Beast are in here just so that you can have options for good ritual monsters. Relinquished can obviously remove and deal big damage possibly if it eats something big, while Masked Beast is just a large monster on its own. The Dark Illusion Ritual to summon out the Relinquished, of course, same as Masked Beast Ritual. We also have advanced ritual art, so I made sure to have normal monsters that corresponded to the levels of all these ritual monsters. We have 8s for Masked Beast, we have 1s for Relinquished, and we have 4s for Paladin of White Dragon. I also did Fusion Gate and Polymerization, 6 Polymerization, 3 Fusion Gate, just to give Fusion enough times to actually fuse. I wanted to make sure you weren't left with materials and no way to put them together. We have Allure of Darkness just for some draw. There are a lot of dark monsters in here, so you'll probably have a nice little bit of fodder. Night Beam for some more back row removal. Order to Charge gives us value from our normal monsters. I like the idea of just in case you can't fuse them, there are a decent amount of normal monsters like the heroes floating around in here, like the Charcoal Impachi, so I wanted to give them some extra value. Order to Charge lets you use them as removal. Cost Down is a cool way to summon out our big monsters without having proper tributes. Shard of Greed is a nice, slow, casual, fun way to draw more cards with no cost. White Elephant's Gift is another way to use up those heroes, so they're just sitting around. I really tried to make heroes work, so we'll see if I succeeded. 3 Draining Shield, kind of manipulate life, stop attacks. Wall of Disruption, really strong in Duel Links when I played at least. Can really pop a whole opponent board if they kind of overextend. 3 Metal Reflex Slime, a nice big wall, no offensive capability, so kind of sets you up for maybe a recovery play on your turn. 3 Rising Energy can either act as a finisher or a defensive piece depending on your situation. Wabaku blocks damage. Damage Condenser lets you swap out damage for a monster, which I think is a cool, very anime. I wanted this to be very cinematic, if you know what I mean. I wanted this to kind of feel like you're playing through some really bad casual duels, so I thought that'd be really cool. And then 3 Waking the Dragon. I like the idea of, since there is back row removal, we have Night Beam, we have Breaker the Magical Warrior, we have Dark Magic Attack. I liked the idea that you can have this set up, and if they are too careless with how they pop things, you may be able to just pop out that Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, that Master of Oz, just for free. So that special rule I mentioned is called the Coin Rule, and what that is it's a way for players to pick up cards that they want to have together but are a little worried that picking them on their own will be too low tempo. So for example, say you have a pack where you see a Flame Wingman and a Burstinatrix, and you've already picked up an Avion and a Polymerization, and you're worried that should you pick up the Wingman, the other player may notice this and pick the other card. The Coin Rule, therefore, is there to help you accomplish that kind of scenario. Same for rituals. So what this does is, before you begin play, you will decide who will go first. The other player will be the coin player. What that means is they may, during a pack, pick up 2 cards instead of 1 while looking through that pack. When they do so, the other player will then become the coin player. If you're playing with more than 2 players, the coin roll travels clockwise around the table. What this means is, a player may never use the coin ability twice in the same pack, so at a maximum they can use it 5 times, once per pack, and it is possible for the coin roll to never be used. If the coin player never uses it, it will never pass to another player, and you will just draft as normal. As I said, I have not tested this cube, but this seems like a good way to me to mitigate some of the randomness and to have a little more control over the deck you're building. Something else to mention is, you may notice, I did say this is a speed duel, there aren't actually any skill cards here. While skill cards are really cool, I decided that they can be a little too altering and a little too linear. If you pick up a skill card that's effective in your deck, it may become the only way you choose to play that deck. And I like this more as a way to play almost a retro format using the speed duel pool than a way to really accurately play speed duel. So I can understand if somebody feels uncomfortable with that. If you want to play with skill cards, it wouldn't be hard to add them in. I would almost choose to have them in a separate draft. That way you can maybe build a couple decks, you know, pick a few skill cards, draft a pool of cards, and then build build maybe 2 or 3 decks, you and just another opponent. In a 2-person draft, there are enough cards here that you two will only see about 32% of what the cube has to offer. So with that math, maybe there are more ideal ratios. I do plan on probably playing this in pairs, me and another player most often, but I don't foresee that stopping too much. Like I said, this hasn't been tested yet, and I'm not really a speed duel expert, so this could be total hogwash. Maybe it's not any fun at all, but it's a huge mashup of cards that are very nostalgic, very interesting to a lot of players, and I think it'll be really fun. I would definitely recommend giving it a build, or giving your own a build, giving it a try. The Google Sheets link, this link will be in the description below, just in case you want to check it out, maybe make a copy for yourself, changes that you'd like to see. It's a very fluid thing, so I'm very excited for it. I hope people try this out. So with that, that's all I've got for you. Thank you so much for watching. I am forever apologizing for my upload schedule. Not that I have any subs, of course. I have the number I do, and I'm very grateful for that, but I do mean to upload. It's just hard when I'm finishing up schoolwork, so I really appreciate everybody that sticks around, watches these when they pop up in their sub box. It's really exciting to do this. Anyway, that's all for me. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.